1949 Mercury 8 Coupe. And look at this one. Been looking forward to doing this video. Give you a little background. When this car came in, I had to move it in our showroom, and it's one of those where you get in, turn the key, the thing starts up after pushing the start button, and it's just boom. Moved it around the showroom, got it into a parking stall, and the whole time thinking, wow, this car drives nice. Granted, I'm only in the showroom, but just moving it around, you didn't notice a lot of the things that you notice in an older car that maybe needs a little TLC or a little restoration work. This one was actually fully restored from the ground up by a company out of Southern California, Paddock's Restorations. And this car actually started life before they got it as a black plate California car, and it's gorgeous. Little older restoration, but still shows very, very well. I think it was mid 90s, not quite to 2000 when it was restored, and paint shows very nice on it yet. Take a look at the grille, headlight surrounds. As far as color-wise, what it reminds me of color-wise, very, very similar to your 2003 Corvettes in the anniversary color. Now, if you have any questions, of course, 507-386-1726. UniqueClassicCars.com is our website. Let's go ahead and take a look down the passenger side, and you can see how straight this car is. You get those long panels, and if those are not done properly in restoration, between paint, any sort of body work, prepping, it's going to show. Look at how that one looks down the passenger side. Now, underneath the hood, get into that a little bit, flathead V8. So when this was restored, it was restored very much to original conditions, although they have had a few modifications underneath that hood. That flathead often houses heads on it, and also a dual carb setup, and we're going to check that out in a little bit. Of course, 3-speed manual transmission. This car does also have overdrive. Remember, we do consider trades. Financing is available. Of course, we can assist with transportation, and this vehicle may be eligible for an extended service contract. Consult with your sales associate when you call in or email. Take a look at the bright work in the back here. And again, some of the chrome bright work, may show its age a little bit, but boy, overall condition of this car again shows nicely. Just a slight bit of pitting on the chrome here, which is kind of even tough to get to show up in the video there. And critiquing this car pretty closely, I guess, really. But look at that finish on the trunk. And again, pretty much that way all the way around the car that I've noticed. Check out those fender flares, or excuse me, fender skirts. And then look down this driver's side again. Wow. Nice and straight, bright work looks good. Again, 1949 Mercury 8 Coupe. Any of these 49s, it seems like we've gotten in, sell rather quickly, no doubt about that. This one's a beauty. All right, let's go ahead and check out the interior, which was done at time of restoration. Love these door handles. Look at that. So kind of gray, silver, if you will. There's gray and light gray interior. Bench seat, and as you can see, cloth. Also in nice shape. Let's take a look in the back. I have a feeling it's going to look just like the front. Headliner, also intact and fine shape. Now, let's see. I'm going to go through a few things that I found out. As far as with the gauges, previous owner stated fuel gauge does not work. He would go by miles that he'd driven and then put gas in it, so many miles, of course. Really easy one to get around. Oil pressure worked fine. Let me sit in here so I can tell you the rest of them. Temp gauge did not, but if you look down below, we have two temp gauges down here. Guessing one's oil temp and one's coolant temp. Had the wipers work, although they are still vacuum. So you know vacuum wipers are a little fussy sometimes. I did have the horn work. And take a look at that dash. Also in nice shape, and pretty much kept the original gauge cluster. So now when I was mentioning about how this car starts, and just the sound of closing the door and how it fits. All right, turn this key. Right there, electric fuel pump switch underneath the dash, but it will go on and off with the key switch. So fuel pump's pumping, and that is it. Car started and running. You're also going to notice the oil pressure come up. So that gauge does work. It's up to plus 30, I believe it was, especially. And again, that's going to change as you're on the throttle and off the throttle. But here's your fuel gauge. Did not work. Like I said, previous owner kept track of miles. Battery gauge works fine. And then this temp gauge, I notice it just always stays in hat. So that's why I'm assuming the aftermarket ones were added. All right, let this get warmed up just a tad. There is, I believe, a choke here. You can see that. And then the overdrive, you'd have parking brake release here, overdrive, and underneath is your hood release. So, and I'm gonna remember to mention something about that hood when we get up there also. Neutral. All right. Slip around to this. No crazy exhaust. It's got that old school flathead sound. Got a little low idle, a little rumble out of her. But again, nothing crazy. All right, let's slip up to the front. All right, I'm gonna have to release that hood, of course, from the inside. I'm gonna pause this a second. Let's check out the engine.
Hey, did you know that this car qualifies for an extended warranty? It's just like the one you get at your new car dealership, except it covers your classic car instead. It covers all the major components like engine, transmission, drivetrain, and you can get coverage up to 10 years. Repairs aren't cheap. These extended warranties are a no-brainer. Contact us for a quote on this car today.
And here we go. So stock looking engine bay with a little dress up, kind of after school hot rod mentality where you're gonna beef up the cars a little bit back then, get a little more performance out of them. And here you go. So you got the dual carb setup off and hauser heads. Check out those plug wires to match the color of the paint. Look at how smooth that runs. Good sounding engine. Flathead V8 powered 3-speed manual transmission with overdrive 6-volt system. You can still see what a cool setup. And beautiful looking car. Give us a call at 507-386-1726, uniqueclassiccars.com. Click on the link down below this video in the description. It's going to take you right there. And of course, you can call us 507-386-1726, uniqueclassiccars.com. We do consider trades. Financing is available. Of course, we can assist with transportation, and this vehicle may be eligible for an extended service contract, consultant, or sales associate. Let her know.